Hey, everybody. Welcome to the She, Her, and Me podcast. My name is Akila Renee, and I am your host. Today, we have two women that have been on the podcast before, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. LeNora?
Good evening, everybody. LeNora Hawkins, class of 2002 from Morris Brown College.
Good evening. My name is Lilian, Chaka, triplet, class of 2000, supposed to be 2002, but 2007.
Nice. And I'm Akila Renee. I'm class of 2002. Ladies, let's get up and show them our shirts so they'll know that we are true Brownites, right? All right. Straight out of Morris Brown College. And mine is the cover of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that says, what? We back. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. How are y'all doing today?
Excellent.
Great.
Good. So some exciting news happened last week. We are in the process of getting our accreditation, and it's looking like we are there, right?
Mm-hmm. Finally, after 20
years.
20 years.
20.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I mean, all the jokes, is your school still in existence? How many people go
still have it? Y'all still open? Y'all not even open? Why is at your school?
Yeah. Why you going to homecoming?
Right.
Why you going to homecoming? You only got no school. Y'all don't even have no bacon.
Football team. Yep.
Right.
Haters. But we back, right?
Yes.
So I wanted, after talking to each of you on your own podcast, I thought it'd be a good idea for us to just get together and go back down memory lane and reminisce on the good old days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we met. Like, I know how I met LeNora, and I'm just gonna go and put it out there. She saw me creeping one day.
A lot of people creeping. I mean, yeah.
And tell them why, LeNora, because you used to be posted up downstairs.
In front of the cafeteria.
You know how she do.
Once you cross that threshold coming from either side, or if you had to do the, what do we call that?
Walk of shame.
The walk of shame through the yard from wherever you was coming from.
Right. You would see LeNora downstairs. Like, first of all, why are you down there? What is going on? And I'm like this, like, no, you didn't see me come from okay. So if you've never been to Morris Brown, we had two towers, a girls' tower and a boys' tower. Cochran
and Borders.
Right. And Borders for the boys. And, I was invited to Borders a couple of times, and sometimes when I would come downstairs, either coming back or going over there, who would I see would be LeNora.
Hey.
LeNora, what was you doing down there? What were you doing?
I was probably going to the calf. I stayed in the calf.
She did.
I was probably going to the calf. I stayed in there.
She was in line when they opened. She'd be like, y'all gonna meet me in the calf? No. Not at 7 o'clock.
I'm in the calf. Yes. Early and late. Yes.
And then, so that's how I remember meeting LeNora was in freshman year. And then Chaka, we had class together, right?
We did.
Yeah.
Dr. Fulford.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Fulford, y'all was biology teacher, professor, rather.
Yeah, biology 110 and 111, I think.
Something like that. All I know is the lady used to cough ridiculously. And if you know me, then you know I can't stand to hear nobody cough. It drives me crazy. Even myself, when I have to cough, I be trying to stifle it.
It was the monotone for me. Like, you can't take her at 8 o'clock in the morning. And she's standing there right there by the board. And I'm like, lady, I'm going to sleep. I'm not going to make it.
But the thrilling part was that we was all failing. And how you compare
one person was passing that class.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who it was. Who was it?
I see her face. I can't remember her name, but she's an AKA. I think she went through with Angie and the real big line that they had. I would have to find her on Facebook, but she's a doctor now. So
And rightfully so, right? Because I remember having study groups. And we coming up with ways on how to cheat on a test, right? Like, I'm just gonna go and put it out there. Like, you distract her, somebody gonna go get the answers. And did I participate in the conversation about it? Yes. But did I? No. But I do remember like comparing grades after, like, oh, you got a 45. No, I got a 40.
That was it. You beat me by 2 points. Right. No, it was like out of, what was it? Maybe like 25 of us. It was one person that passed. I was like,
wow. Yeah. It was not the best. And then I transitioned because I was a bio pre-med major and I transitioned to community health education. I'm like, 8 a.m. biology class is not going to get me.
Right. And I transferred to psychology. So, yeah.
So, LeNora, what was your major? What'd you finish?
Criminal justice the whole way through. Did not change majors. The infamous Dr. Johnny Dumas Myers would hate you. And that's, partially the reason why we are the way we are today. So it works. But yes.
I just remember y'all stories about Dr. Myers. I'm like,
And
let me tell you how LeNora set me up.
They remain today.
LeNora, you remember how you set me up?
No.
She got her cell phone taken. Remember that little purple Nokia cell phone?
Oh my gosh. Purple Nokia prepaid phone. She took it.
And so she said, Chaka, I need you to go get my phone. From who? She was like, Dr. Mike, wait a minute. Oh no, just go in there and tell her you here to get my phone.
So what happened?
Oh, well, where's Miss Hawkins?
Oh,
she
yeah.
Go to work. Girl, I felt this big, like. I mean, like, she was really intimidating. So, on top of the stories that I heard, I'm like, this lady is, but she was a sweetheart. But
she is a sweetheart. She is.
I wasn't
really.
I told her, don't you take your phone to class no more, because it's just gonna get left.
Cut it off.
LeNora, did your phone ring in class or what?
My phone rang in class, and everybody turned to me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I just put it up in the air.
Like, I'm not even gonna fight. Like, here you go.
They ain't in the fight.
Yeah.
So yes, my phone did get taken, and that was back when cell phones, first were very popular and
right. When they set us all up on campus and have the little prepaid cell phones, you could buy it in the box.
Oh yeah, right there at the base.
Yeah, girl. So what? Who is your most memorable? Well, what was your most memorable class?
Mr. Davis. He taught. Was it English? English lit, Mr. Davis.
The earliest to be on time,
Oh, y'all, I forgot his name, but that's where I was, because he was like, it is not Atlanta. It is Atlanta. Yeah. No, I took him I had to take reading 101 or whatever that class, college reading.
Yeah. And then I remember the assignment he gave us where we had to come up with 20 different ways to say a lot, but not use a lot.
Okay. Yeah. I think if I had to think of something memorable, Dr. Selassie in African American Studies.
Oh yeah.
He it was a unique class, but it was memorable. And there was a class that Dr. White taught in criminal justice. The only reason why it was memorable is because Antoine Walker had us late to class every single day.
Why? What was y'all doing?
Because that's when me and Chaka lived together in College Park. 20 probably lived maybe a mile away from us. So I would leave our house, go pick him up, but he would never be ready. And so we would get to class, and I'm not late. I'm never late. So I was irritated. And at least once a week, he was like, oh man, we gotta go to the store. He would get her flowers and pretend like that was an olive branch and an approval for us to be late. I was over it. But
did it work?
No, nuh-uh. She knew it wasn't me though. So Mr. Walker though, I don't know how he survived, but yeah, we had our own little criminal justice crew, so it was cool.
I like Dr. or Mr. Scales, Dr. Scales class.
I had Mr. Scales, yeah.
Yeah, and he would He would walk in and he would say, "Good morning, Africans."
Yep. I
Every
had him in the
class.
afternoon, so he would say good afternoon. Yeah.
Yes. And we had this one little white boy in our class who would just turn beet red every time. He played on the
Another
football
memorable class for me was in Jordan Hall. It was
Ooh.
the first day of classes, and I was with Dr. Walton, Frederick Walton, and it was just me and him the whole class.
What?
It was
For the
like-
rest of the semester?
for that whole week, apparently there was an unwritten rule where you're not supposed to go to class the first week of class. Nobody told me that. And so I literally was in Jordan Hall with him. We sat the whole time and talked. I walked from Jordan Hall to that pay phone. It was right in front of the Y.
Mm-hmm.
And I my mom collect, and I told her to come get me because these people don't come to class, and I'm ready to go.
That was freshman year?
That was freshman year, the first week, and then I think there was a category that weekend. And I was like, yeah, I changed my mind. I'm staying.
Okay.
I did the same thing, but mine was different. So you know the corner store right there on Northside Drive,
Habib's.
across the street, Habib's.
Yeah.
So I was going to the store, and I'm standing at the corner waiting for the light to change so I could cross the street. And a guy came across the street, and he was like, "Hey, Miss Lady," but I didn't understand what he said. And I was like, "I don't know what you want. I don't understand what you're saying." And he was looking at me like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I ran back to my room, called my dad, collect, come get me. I understand nothing. I don't know what is going on. You told me to stay. I tried 2 weeks. I'm ready to come home. This I don't know what this is.
I was like, come get me.
I never felt that way. I never felt that way. I was a sheltered child. So I just remember freshman year, like you could find me on the steps in front of the towers. That's where I was hanging out. I don't know. It was fun. My parents weren't around. That's where you could find me. And then by second semester, I'm like, oh, this biology grade, I probably need to do something or something.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's where I met LeNora, in front of the towers on the steps.
Yeah.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. And then y'all became roommates and all that good stuff.
Right, because it was LeNora and her roommate Ryan. Because I was standing out there by myself.
Ryan. Yeah.
And so I think it was Ryan that said, "We see you," because she had her nails. So she'd be like, "We see you out here by yourself all the time. Where your roommate at?" And I said, "I don't have a roommate." "You can hang with us, right, LeNora?" And LeNora was like, And she said, what she said? She said, "We get ready to go to the mall." I was like, "Well, how do you get there?" Because y'all were meeting some people that stayed in SAQ. And so she told me how to get there. And I was like, I am not getting on public transportation. I will just be here when they get back.
Girl. So Chaka, you didn't have a roommate at all. Did you have a single room?
I did. 703 in the corner by myself.
Yeah. How about, did y'all take the AUC shuttle?
Every Friday, could tell you how it ran like clockwork.
Every Friday to the
club,
things, or to the firefighter. One of the two, depending on, or to Morehouse campus. It depends where we were going that day.
I know I took it a couple of times to the club. I'm like, what? School shuttle takes you to the club, and then you don't want to be in the club because DJ come on at 1:30. Be like, "Hey, y'all took that shuttle. You about to go."
Excuse me, that's my ride. That's my
right.
I can go.
Yeah, those were the good old days. So, all right. So y'all kind of came from the West Coast. I was gonna say we all came from different parts of the world, but Chaka, you came from Cali. LeNora, you came from Washington. So what was it like, y'all's first homecoming? What was your first homecoming like?
Culture shocking for me.
How so?
Well, at home, it's a diverse mix. Here, it was just us. And so I knew about bands because my parents are from the South. So I'm okay. But I never got to experience it because it wasn't a big thing for us. And so when I got here, and I remember freshman orientation week, the band was on the yard, the drum line was on the yard, and you remember Corlin Doolittle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he was out there and I was like, I know that guy. And I was just in amazement, like, okay, the band.
The band.
The band.
Yeah.
What about you, LeNora?
It wasn't as much as a shock because I'm an Army brat. So I lived in Columbus about 7 years of my life. So I was kind of used to it. But going back home for high school and then coming back, we didn't have no bands. And well, if we did, it was like performing arts type of bands. It wasn't wasn't no halftime shows, none of that.
That wasn't no talking out the side of your neck.
None of that. So it was cool. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. You know, we stayed at the football game, so
50-yard line.
50-yard line.
That's where you would find us. But I will tell y'all, my first homecoming, I missed it.
Uh-oh.
And I'm just gonna tell you the story. So my hind parts is down at Mr. Everything, because if y'all in Atlanta, go to Mr. Everything. In Mr. Everything one night, met this guy who was like, I want to take you out on a date, blah, 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 whatever. He was lame. He was a lame-o. I went, right? I went. I can't even tell you anything about the date. All I know is that I slept in Saturday morning. I missed the game. I missed everything. I didn't get out to the yard till about 1 or 2 o'clock.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my first homecoming experience. But I did meet somebody on the I walked right into that my own self. Okay, so so let's talk about this if y'all want to. So freshman year, who was crushing on you, and who were you crushing on?
Freshman?
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody crushing on me who lived in Borders.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Right. LeNora just like zoned out on us and just went there.
You saw her, she said,
I was trying to remember where I was, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my crush was essay, who?
Yeah. I had somebody in SAQ who was crushing on me. And he was from Cali.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I don't remember his last name. I remember his first name though.
You don't have to say it.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. I just remember.
You can describe the person in other ways.
Light skin, decent gray hair. He wore glasses.
Mm-hmm. Did he have a Super Bowl party?
A who?
A Super Bowl party?
I don't know.
I remember going to a Super Bowl party I think with both of y'all off campus. It was when the Falcons played. They was in the Super Bowl. And they play. I don't even know who they play. I just remember being in somebody's apartment. It was a whole bunch of us.
They played the Ravens.
Yeah.
You got me because I don't remember.
Oh, we'll talk about that offline. Okay.
They played the Ravens.
LeNora, who were you crushing on and who was crushing on you?
My crush was in SAQ. I actually had a little boyfriend my freshman year for a small little second.
Really?
Pinch, you know.
There's a pinch. So I really want to know who that is, but we don't want to say no names because the She Her and Me podcast cannot get sued for anything. Because we don't have no money. How long did y'all date? Like a month?
Freshman year, probably towards the end of the freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Second semester sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a crush. Oh, I had a crush on a couple of people. You know, I'm a flirt. I still am a flirt. It is what it is. If I know you interested, I'm a flirt. I won't shoot my shot because I'm shy. But if I know you interested, I'll flirt. But yeah, I did. And let me tell y'all, it's so embarrassing. So y'all remember College Club, right? And I want to say, but College Club probably came out when we were like sophomores or juniors.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a guy, Chaka, you know who this is because he was also from California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I created a whole account, a whole fake account.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And I think it was like, I'm watching you or something like that. So he would be in the computer lab Well, I didn't know anything about email. I would like there would be this email to come out and I would reply all from my I'm watching you. And it wasn't until somebody said, whoever you are, please stop replying all.
Did he ever find out?
I think I finally did. Probably at the end of the year, told him who I was.
Oh man.
Yeah. This kitty, being a kid.
Right.
What?
But that's how it was.
What'd you say, LeNora?
It's totally different today, but that's exactly how it was back then.
I remember that computer lab because I did the same thing.
Did you?
Yes.
To somebody? Is that where I got the look? Is that where I got the idea from?
No, he was from California too, but it's not the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know how he found out. When he came to me, he was like, I know what you was. I was like, what are you talking about? Whoever his screen name was. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Guilty as charged. I did it.
Is this are you talking about Juke Brute? What's the cologne?
No.
Somebody else.
They lived in College Park.
Yeah, everybody lived in College Park.
Oh. Okay, yeah, no. Past that. Okay.
What?
That's an offline conversation, Kitty.
I cannot wait. I'm here for it all because I'm like, I'm about to start taking some notes so we can revisit some things. What made y'all attend Morris Brown?
Blackity black. I was A&B. It was either Morris Brown or Wilberforce in Ohio, and I just wanted to come back to Atlanta. So,
gotcha. Chaka,
I had never heard of Morris Brown. I actually saw the brochure in my guidance counselor's office in high school, and so I picked it up, and I was flipping through it, and when I got to the back, it was talking about the application fee. I said, "That's $20. I can do that." So I was like, I don't have to ask my mom. So. And I had applied to Clark as well, but I got my acceptance letter to Morris Brown before I got the one to Clark. And I had already said, okay, I'm going to Atlanta, and Morris Brown was around the corner. I was like, well, I'll be there. I'll take it. My mom's like, you sure you don't want to wait? Absolutely. I'm leaving.
I was going to Xavier first. Okay. If everything my senior year says, if you look at old yearbooks, whatever, Xavier University, New Orleans. That's where I was going. And I applied to a couple of colleges, but Morris Brown came through with that tuition-free scholarship. So I was like, well, looks like I'll be going to Morris Brown. Mm-hmm. And I'm better for it. You know, and my parents were like, well, just go to Morris Brown the first year and then transfer. And I remember, really? Yeah. And I remember, my family had come down. So my family from Virginia, my parents, they'd all come to, as I was leaving for the freshman year. And I want to say we was at Applebee's. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about, you know, okay, you're going to be going to Xavier next year. And I remember sitting in the middle of the restaurant, boohoo crying, because I did not want to leave Morris Brown College. I'm like, my mom's like, you don't have to go. But I didn't want to leave because I had already forged all these friendships. I loved the school. I bled purple. You know, it was home. And so I decided that that I was going to stay.
Yeah, I applied to some PWIs in Washington. And one of the other reasons why I ended up at Morris Brown is because I got a scholarship from the United Negro College Fund for being an African-American female from the state of Washington that attended an HBCU. I'll never forget that because that's written directly to me. Let me go ahead and get it. And I did not know that I got it until they sent the school the money. I had no idea.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
never leave it now. Thank you.
Of course not, right? This is it. And the same thing happened to me. Talk about being in that computer lab. It had to be some IT class. I don't even remember what it was. But for whatever reason, I took my time leaving the class. It was like me and one other person there. I don't know why. And I overheard this girl who worked in a scholarship office saying to the professor, we have 2 scholarships for seniors that have an outstanding balance. Well, by this time I was a senior, I had already lost my scholarship dealing with Dr. Cross. It was going to come on. It wasn't, blah, 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 blah. So by my senior year, I ended up owing, let's just say 13,000 was the balance. And I heard her say that. And I was like, well, I'm a senior with an outstanding balance. And she's like, give me your social. Like, we didn't care about who had our socials back then. It was like, no big deal.
Right.
Crazy. And so I did. And, Dr. Singh kept calling me like, you're going to have to leave school. You're going to have to pack up, I'm going to unenroll you from all these classes. And my mom's like, well, call that lady, call the lady that said, and I tell y'all, because I was working at the Y right there on campus. And I called and they were like, well, we weren't supposed to tell you this, but you got it. You got the scholarship. And it was a Tom Joyner Ford scholarship.
Wow.
And I finally got the chance to thank him for that scholarship when I went on the Tom Joyner cruise 6 years ago. It changed my life. My hair was falling out. I was stressed out because I didn't want to leave and I didn't have that many classes left to take. And so it came through in the nick of time of me sitting in class, eavesdropping on somebody else's conversation. That's where the best things come from, is when you eavesdrop, right?
Being nosy.
Of course. So tell me, what was your worst experience at Morris Brown?
My worst experience was Dr. Singh.
What happened?
I remember financial aid. It hadn't posted. And so I remember going to his office because, the line was always ridiculous in financial aid. And so after I sat out there and waited for 2 hours, I went into his office and he told me the same thing. Well, I'm going to have to unenroll you. Your financial aid isn't posting. I was like, I'm halfway through my classes for this year. You're going to tell me that I have to drop out now? And I remember calling my mom crying and she was like, it's going to be okay. She was like, just finish out the rest of the semester. And I'm like, but he's telling me he's not going to allow me to finish the rest of the semester.
Right.
That was heartbreaking. And then I just vanished from campus. And I remember LeNora coming home. Everybody asking where you are. I don't care what you tell them. I'm not there.
Fortunately, I didn't have financial aid issues. I think that's because I remember my mom dropping me off. She went over to the financial aid office and then she came back and she had 3 checks. And she was like, take this check to this person, take this check to this person, take this check to this person. And anytime I had an issue, I would call my mom and then it would just be magically removed. But I think mine is more superficial. Like when my car got broken into, I was like devastated.
Yeah.
Because back then it wasn't, you couldn't track nothing. I had to wait for a copy of my birth certificates. It was just an inconvenience for that to happen at that time. And it wasn't necessarily on Morris Brown's campus, but it was in the Castleberry apartments that had just gotten built over on the other side of Clark. My roommate at Phoenix Towers, I took her there and they broke in my car and I literally just gotten into Atlanta and all of my anything I had that was of value was in my purse. And I remember the guy whose apartment we were at, one of her friends from Morehouse, saw them break into the car. And so I just went into chase them mode and we were literally going through the streets of the West End and those people who had my purse were throwing stuff out of the window from inside of my purse. It was absolutely crazy. And then I'm calling 911 on my little Nokia. And they're asking
we all had one.
What zone I'm in and what. I was like, sir, I'm in the West End. Listen, I don't know what zone I'm in. I'm in the West End. So that was probably, so I had to go get a new ID. It was horrible.
Oh my gosh. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, that was I couldn't do it.
I remember when they stole my car.
Oh my gosh.
Really? When was this? I don't remember this.
College Park.
Junior year, I think.
Yeah, junior.
I couldn't understand why, because there was a guy that stayed in the same building as us.
Mhm.
His was black, mine was silver. His had rims, his had a sound system. They were both bagged in. And I remember I had just come back from watching a Tyler Perry play. And LeNora was always a morning person, so she was up and gone. And then I get up and I'm getting ready to go to class, and I go outside. Where's my car? LeNora, did you move my car this morning? No. It was there when I left. It's not here now. Gone.
Thing was gone.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But they found it.
Oh, they did. Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. I had to replace all my books, but they found it.
Oh, wow.
Back when people sold books, because books were very expensive.
Right.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And do they even have like books in bookstores now?
They have them. Or you can rent them off of Amazon.
Oh, you can. Oh, yeah, you can get them off of Amazon.
Like you can rent the book electronically on Amazon, so they'll give you a time frame.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, you can rent this book for a period of time for this amount of money.
I still have some of my books. I literally just moved them off of that bookshelf from.
I do too. Like that biology book.
$100 book. Yes. I just got rid of you remember that TI 85 calculator we had to have?
Still got it. Yeah.
I'm died.
So LeNora, I want to go back to what you said earlier about how you and Dr. Walton were the only one in the class for the first week. So I probably still went to class, but I wasn't buying books like the first week. Like you get them like the second week, third week, maybe. Hopefully there's nothing in the syllabus. And then when
I was ready.
When I got to grad school and I got to class and everybody had their books and stuff, I'm like, what y'all? We got homework? Wait a minute. Wait, how you know that? Like, that's not what we did. We didn't get the books and all that ahead of time. You wait. Wait. Now I do remember I had a higher learning experience. Because what happens when the professor or the doctor doesn't show up? What do?
10 minutes.
Right. You sign a roll and you leave. Right?
And you leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I came back, so we were on our way to class and you just say bye to everybody, because you walk into class or whatever. And I came back to the dorm and there was a guy there, and I'll tell you who it is later. He was like, it was just like straight out of higher learning. He was like, why y'all coming back? You paid for that class. You need to stay in there. Chaka, do you know who that was? It was Trip.
Really?
Flounder. Was like, you pay for this class. They owe you a class. And I just remember like, isn't that out of a movie?
I can't believe it.
Yeah. He clowned us for sure for coming back. Like, what? I was like, they didn't show up. You signed a roll and leave.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Oh God. Okay.
For sure. I don't know why that memory sticks with me, but I'll never forget it. Because I felt kind of bad for leaving. Like,
I don't know why.
Like, should I leave or should I go? What am I supposed to do?
All right.
right, just sit in there. I will say this though. I do remember, I don't remember nobody's name, the speech class. And we had a test and she would leave, but she would literally walk out the door and say, now, I done gave y'all's test, but I'm gonna step outside. Don't cheat. And leave. Like, come on now.
Set up.
Clearly. But she would leave. I mean, she pretty much told us, go cheat.
Johnny Dumas Myers, the day you came into that classroom, we had a test. You need to drop everything you have at that front door.
Really?
And she used to sit back And she used to put her head back and close her eyes. And then one day she stood up and walked to the back of one of them classrooms. I think everybody in the class was frozen because we had never seen her move during the test. We were like, oh, somebody about to go. Somebody about to get put out. Everybody's pen stopped. Like, I ain't saying that, you know, there might not have been a little chitter chatter or a little winky winky, but when she got up and walked to the back of that classroom,
yeah, it was over.
And our hearts probably stopped until she sat back down.
Mm-hmm.
All that pressure for nothing.
It's a way to command the room, I tell you that.
Right.
It was.
I think my what I wouldn't say scariest, but the professor that we had in psychology that put the most fear in us was Dr. Garcia.
I heard of that person. Folks was really, really scared for real.
Right. Like, you got Dr. Garcia's class? Yeah, okay.
Really?
Like, he used to sit there like frozen. And he would, you know, like, and then when he would joke, we all be like, oh, okay, ha ha, ha ha, ha. He was something. Like, oh man. He had the whole room. Just don't say nothing. Just sit right here. Whatever he say, go with it.
Right.
Well, let's take a break, guys, and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I have with me today 2 women I went to college with and hung out with for several years while we were in college, once we got to know each other, Chaka and LeNora. One of the things that I did want to touch base on is how we used to get together, because by sophomore year, I had moved off campus. But we would start every morning with breakfast. One of y'all used to come pick me up in the morning. It probably was LeNora.
I don't know. I was still on campus. My sophomore.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
And we would sneak in the caf. By this time, I ain't had no meal plan. She caught up with me by the second semester, though. Because I could still swipe my badge and get in with no problem. But by second semester, it was like, beep, beep, beep.
Hoping the machine was broke. Like, it's
right.
Or that one lady was at the door and she let you come in. I forgot her name. She was definitely like, come on, baby. Slide it on through.
And I remember the conversations we used to have. Y'all remember the coat? That's how I started texting y'all back.
Oh, winter coat?
Yeah, you got to have a winter coat.
Winter coat. Yeah.
And if y'all don't know what that means, I mean, when it get cold, you need a coat. Every woman needs a coat.
Right.
Don't y'all remember when we all went out with our winter coats?
Why you got my whole face just like, oh my God.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Very.
I don't remember that though. I mean, tell me, without saying names,
I don't remember the restaurant we went to, but I remember we all went and we was all just kind of sitting there like
awkward.
Seriously?
Extremely.
It was really awkward. I don't know what we call ourselves doing, but we wasn't doing nothing. But being awkward.
Nothing but being kids, college kids, trying to be adults.
Trying to.
Right.
What would y'all say was the best parties?
Kappa parties. Or the off-campus parties. If it was an organized party, I would say the Kappa parties. Maybe because we would always get there early so we can get in for free.
I would tell you one year, shit, every party in Atlanta I got into for free. I'm like, who at the door? Is Black Shield at the door?
Oh, yeah. If Black Shield was at the door, man, we didn't even care. We would just be like,
right.
We on the way.
I remember we were going to a party at Club Envy, and there was a line down the street.
Didn't do lines.
And it was I know it was me, LeNora, and I can't even tell you who else it was. And so we were walking, and somebody said, why didn't you stand in line? And LeNora turned around and was like, excuse me? I said, come on, girl, we got to go.
We had an inch anywhere. If Black Shield was at the door, we was getting in, period.
There.
Right. Oh, y'all remember my 22nd birthday?
Did we go to
We went
Cheesecake Factory?
Factory.
Yes,
And
I
then
still
to
have
all
the
those
picture.
clubs and all the, because you remember they had all those clubs off of Peachtree Street on the other side.
No, y'all skipping what happened at the Cheesecake Factory. Didn't somebody almost slip down them steps?
Oh, please tell me it wasn't me. Was it me?
Was.
Oh, dang.
You remember that land? You remember it came around and had steps and it had that land and it was the whoop.
Did I fall? Did I fall?
No, everybody grabbed hold. But y'all are also forgetting something too that we used to always do because we thought we was grown.
TGI Fridays.
Bud slides from TGI Fridays.
Oh,
on Friday.
Yes.
It was the drink of the century, okay?
Right.
Like there off of Peachtree, down the street from Justin's. That
And
was
then
where we were.
Look, when we had a little extra, let me get the ultimate, the one in the big
the
glass.
ultimate one, the big one. And then we would get mad if we felt like they didn't make it right. You need to put some more chocolate in it.
Going to cheesecake because I remember LeNora like, we want brown bread. That's it. That's what
we eat the sourdough bread.
And now she only eat the sourdough part.
That's what, right? We didn't know. We didn't know.
Right. Well, y'all can have the sourdough. I'm still stuck on the brown.
Yep.
But Chaka, remember we met Jason Weaver?
Yes. Remember Amy was like, that's the boy. Remember Amy, because she was like, that's the boy from Drumline. Okay, Amy. Okay.
Where was he?
He was there. I'll show you the pictures. They in my book.
Yeah, when we was at Chaka's 22nd birthday, he just so happened to be in the restaurant that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep.
So the best party, to me, because I'm from Texas, was those latex parties. Yeah. And I still have some of the flyers. It was like a little latex condom wrapper. And latex stand for Louisiana, Texas. And let me tell you though, but I represent Texas so hard, so hard, right? The DJ was like, Paul Wall this, Paul Wall that. And I'm like, yep, that's Texas, whatever, Paul Wall. And I asked this guy, I'm like, why that white boy keep saying Paul Wall name? He was like, that is Paul Wall. Sit down somewhere. Your face Texas, whatever. Go have several seats. How about that? Because I was like, my brother know him. Baby. My brother like, is Paul Wall white? Did nobody tell me nothing. I also remember going to the compound. Well, not the compound. The
Vision?
Purgatory. Y'all remember that club? It was in a church. No. Yeah. I went. It's over by Centennial Park.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, I remember.
You know what? I think it's called Center Stage or something like that. Now it may be where they put the Skyview, the what you call that thing?
Oh, the Ferris wheel.
Because it's a church building right behind there, so that may be.
It used to. I remember people being like, "Why are you going to a club that used to be a church?" But that was freshman year that I remember going.
Yeah, no, I didn't go to that one.
The shuttles that picked us up to go to the atrium in Stone Mountain.
Oh my God!
I didn't do that.
Yes,
really?
Yeah,
that was a long way from.
A long way. And then there was a club too on the corner of like Memorial and something. Is where the courthouse is now, but there was a club right there because I remember some of the courthouse guys getting in. And it used to be dark.
Studio Central.
Yep, I remember going there. Yep. I do remember
that one because that one was close. But other than that,
wow.
If the Kappas had a party, we was right
in the warehouse. You remember the
warehouse? Set up the tables. Okay, well here we go. We gonna set up these tables.
You don't remember the warehouse, LeNora?
Oh, I remember the warehouse.
I remember the warehouse. I remember this guy. I don't even remember his name. I don't remember nobody's name, but he had a girlfriend and we had the same name. And he was trying to push up on me. And I'm like, back up, bro. Like, me and your girlfriend have the exact same name. And it is very unique. Yes. You remember that night?
That was at the warehouse.
Yeah. As you take a step. Yeah, I remember that.
I would say this. That was one of our epic nights. I remember that because we all walked out of there like, woo.
Yeah. For sure. for sure.
Yeah.
What about Spring Affair and Coronation?
Ooh.
I love Spring Fair.
Yeah, Spring Affair was good. That was college prom for me.
Yep.
It was, because I didn't have a prom, but I didn't. No. I went to Spring Affair freshman year. I didn't go to Coronation freshman year. Yeah, I did go to Spring Affair.
I did go to Spring Fair though.
Yeah.
I went to both.
Was it prom?
It was like the prom. I went to a private school. We had no prom, so that was my prom.
Right. It was definitely different. And I remember freshman year, me, Ryan, and LeNora was like, yeah, we going together. Then LeNora had a boyfriend, so she had to go with her boyfriend. Then Ryan got a date, so then I had to go find a date. And then Ryan date ended up standing her up.
Really? So did you still went with your date?
Absolutely.
We coordinated, and I had to, digress a little bit.
I need a date because somebody had asked me to go, but I told them I'm going with my friends. I'm not going with you. And then when I showed up, and you told me you was going with your friends, something happened at the last minute.
Oops.
Yeah.
I had a little boyfriend in college, but before I met him, my first date was in college, and I remember I went to see The Best Man.
Really?
That was my first date. Well, and that was like sophomore year, because that was The Best Man came out in 99. So that was sophomore year, so we were living off campus by then. That was my first date. He was from California. Chaka, you and him share a birthday. If that brings that, yeah. Yep, the good old days. As we wrap up, what did you guys have any regrets?
I wish I would have stayed on campus.
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, if it had, college or late, I should have not stayed on campus longer and not worked jobs as much. Because after my freshman year, I didn't get the campus or college experience because I literally came for class and left. But I think, if I would have been on campus a lot more, it would have been a different experience.
And see, for me, it's the opposite. Where you at? I'm at a party. I'll call you back.
Yeah, I was at work.
Oh, really?
I was at work.
I worked, and I also got an apartment. And so I think me and my roommate both said the same thing. And I had the same roommate all 4 years, but was that I wish I would have stayed on campus at least one more year. So sophomore year.
One more year. Absolutely.
But I think we tried, but we didn't know if I could get into games or not, because we were trying to get into games.
Okay.
And we didn't know.
I say that like after freshman year, it was just different because when we were freshmen, we were all in Cochran, so it was all girls. And then sophomore year, they made floors 2 through 4 girls and boarders, and 5 through 10 were guys. So it was a mix. And so the whole atmosphere was just different. It was like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was.
I can only imagine. Well, thank y'all so much for coming on the She, Her, and Me podcast and going back down memory lane. I guess we'll just end and say that we're grateful for the future of Morris Brown because we back. Are y'all planning on going to homecoming this year?
In 23, 21.
Have it in my account. Yep.
I will be there. I cannot wait. Don't ask me what's in my cup. It ain't that. It's gonna say Chick-fil-A on it. That's
okay.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing y'all there because that's when we'll see each other. So
absolutely.
I cannot wait. If I could end it, I would just say, and bow and thank the gracious Lord for dear old Morris Brown. Yay! Thank y'all so much. This was fun.
Thank you.